Retire Goodyear. Uniroyal. I said, my dad's cars in the 60s had Uniroyal tires on them. Do they even make those anymore? Like BF Goodrich? So I guess to snow or not to snow, that is the question, you know. Whether it's nobler to EC or GFS. Although the EC Ensemble, a friend of mine has actually the EC Ensemble, at least the 0Z run, has a boatload of sleep. So this is the first discussion of the year. And apparently it didn't like the arrows. So obviously we have a light snow event coming in overnight. We already have some clouds. Although if you look at the recent HER and the HREF, the 12Z, they've been slowly backing off on snow. Like a couple days ago, like a nice 1 to 3 inch event, and this morning, maybe 1 to 2. Now we'll be lucky if I think we get a half an inch. But I did this morning because I had a doctor's appointment. I came from there, so I did this morning and mailed it out before I saw the new 12Z HREF, which really played down the snow, and the HER is really playing it down. Like, I guess it's not going to do much of an event. Then they have this Arctic frontal type boundary and waves along the front. There's 2 systems over the Pacific that are coming on shore that are going to like try to make a potential winter, going to make a winter storm. And the question is, you know, we have a big high to the north, but it's not a great banana-shaped high, so most of the really cold air stays to our north and west. Although some shallow cold air is on the front side, which isn't good for rain. But the storm actually, in most of the models we'll see, is supposed to track to our south, which is generally a good thing. But if you've paid attention to the storm since about the 15th of December, we've had a lot of storms pass like over us or just to our west, and the warm air is way behind them because just the southern stream and the northern streams aren't really in cahoots, I guess, and so the southern stream wave can wrap a lot of warm air on the other back side of it. So, even my friend who lives up in Marquette has had a lot of rain since around Christmas time. But once the storm passes through Sunday, this Arctic air just drains through, and some models have shown as cold as minus 24 C at 850 by Sunday night. So if we get mixed precipitation, and should we actually go to rain, well, we're going to have serious flash freeze issues on Sunday, which really could be problematic for anybody driving, from here almost to New York City. With this rain and you can get rapid temperature drops, you're going to create ice really, really fast. Some of the temperature drops look pretty good. But we're in a overall colder pattern, at least an emerging colder pattern, although every time a precipitation pops up, there's always too much warm air. I don't know what the heck's going on here. And there's been a lot. I'm on the Albany map. I don't know if anybody in the room is on the Albany map. There's been a lot of discussion recently about this storm and about the sudden stratospheric warming event, and the impact and how cold it's been in Asia. And people have been kind of keep saying it's going to get cold in North America. And I guess maybe we're seeing inklings, at least of a trough developing. And there are people who are really old bully, like 1905 Teddy Roosevelt there about cold late January, February. But we won't really have enough time to spend any much time on that. And I'm not an expert on stratospheric warming anymore. So page down, maybe it'll be quicker. So we're supposed to get a little snow, and this was this morning's run at 13Z of the HER on the right. And you can see there was, generally 0.01 to about 0.01 with some areas of 0.2 inches of QPF spattered around our area. But the model has been backing off on the Q. This is the total QPF, which would be all snow. And you can see that most favorable parts of West Virginia, it's a funny thing, you have big enough hills and the air goes up, you get more water out of it. It's like a sponge, I guess, the harder you squeeze it. But so this isn't a big event. It looked like I made maybe a fun event, but it looked like QPF on the order of a tenth or two in southwest Pennsylvania, some areas of 2/10, and even higher, and you get down into, I guess I have an arrow I can point with here, into West Virginia. And there's some spatterings at areas that still had over a tenth of an inch. So maybe if you had an inch, based on this, if we had, some snow tonight, maybe an inch or so regionally was not out of the question, and mainly was be overnight. But I said we better check with the HER and HRF-V2. That's because successive runs have backed off. We're backing off significantly on the QPF. I think there were models that showed 0.3 for a while, and they're all gone. So we'll look at that. And then, oops, we go page up. All right, page down. So, and then we have this weak front with the snow, and then we have this frontal system coming through. You can see we're going to probably stay cold, and we're going to pop up above freezing here. And then when the precip comes in, most of the GFS members at 6Z said it was going to stay at or just below freezing, with some members above freezing, and then boom, the quick Arctic chill. That is one temperature DT fall, which is not good if you have had any liquid precipitation laying around or melting stuff laying around. And this was a very cold run. I just peaked at the 12Z run. It's not nearly as cold. There's no minus 10 members in the new run. And then we get a lot of uncertainty with of course, the next frontal system and potential cold slug. And you can see there's some 850 members that get above 0 at 8:50 during the event on Saturday night into Sunday. So it's a real iffy and dicey thing. Clearly, there's going to be Arctic air behind it, which is probably as big a story as the potential snow event, because if we do get any rain or freezing rain and we have slushy stuff around, it's going to turn into white cement in a heartbeat. So this was the 6Z GEFS for State College, and you can see, you know, it actually had more frozen freezing precipitation than the current 12Z run had, and it also had after all the indignity of bitter cold and your nose is going to freeze when you walk across campus on Monday morning, it actually shows rain with the mixed system, or potential for mixed precipitation again. Sort of, it's like, what an insult to cold air and to have rain before and afterwards, but I guess that's the world we live in. So anybody here look at the EC, the 0Z EC, just a single model, was real favorable for snow. And I know yesterday the EC was favorable for snow, so I know some local meteorologists who post on Facebook and do weather forecasting, we're talking about, like, you know, I guess one of our local TV meteorologists put a 22 to 30 inch snow graphic. I went to get a haircut 2 days ago and I heard about 22 to 30 inches of snow. I'll get my haircut. I said, where'd you hear that? Oh, I heard it from so-and-so on W such and such. And I said, oh, really? And he said, yeah. He says, and then she told me the weather, he said the weather modules. And I was like, my wife bit her tongue. I just let her go. So, but anyway, it's amazing how when we say things, they hear the most draconian thing. I don't really know what he said, but apparently some people said he did have a graphic on there. Most people here, maybe somebody knows who I'm talking about who did that. And I have a friend on Facebook who posted a 12 to 18 inch snowfall map, I guess, yesterday. And I guess I said, did you base this on the EC, dude? Where'd you? Very high confident forecast and a lot of snow. So this just shows the GFS surface low, and you know it redevelops to our south and east, which you think would be kind of ideal. And there's an old rule of thumb I learned when I came here in 1993: if the low goes across the mouth of Delaware Bay, we're mint for heavy snow in State College. And you can see we have a lot of QPF in the lower panel. This is a single model with over an inch of QPF in our area. The problem is, if you look at this upper panel for the GFS, not the GEFS, we're above 0 at 850 for the bulk of the precipitation. So now this is the 6Z run. We can take a look at the 12Z run. And the other issue is the heights. The 850 low is to our north and west. And the old rule of thumb, heaviest snow falls on the north and west side of the 850 low. But then the 850 low is to the north and west of us, not the best place. And the GFS and the GEFS, we've been doing this for 4 days now. There's a secondary redevelopment, so the surface low is out here, and the upper 850 low is to our west, so it allows more warm air aloft to come in, and that's probably what's really upsetting the forecast. So we can go look at some of the latest forecasts online here, and I think I can just go like this, and get me out of here for now. And I should have clicked that link, but that's okay. So this is the current plume diagram for State College. Really old school plume diagram. I can't believe this software still runs. I just clean the discs once in a while. And you can see it's got a little bump of maybe a half-inch of snow tonight, if you want to believe that. And of course, this is a pretty crude model. Old snow. And then Saturday afternoon, sometime probably between 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock in the afternoon, snow comes in. And if you look at these curves, you know, there's a green one down here, but pretty much a lot of them show, you know, you have to subtract out probably a tenth, about 5 to 700 is going to fall snow on the front end, and then it shows a lot of rain. It's hard to see. There's some red and there's some freezing rain, and then at the very end it changes to snow. And anybody who's been here a long time knows we rarely get a lot of good snow on the backside of storms. Once the winds go west northwest, we get showery, and it's pretty much over for us. And then there's a nice break with snow fluffies, and then we get this other mixed precipitation event. So if you were going to make a forecast with the GEFS, you could say we're probably going to have in this entire period between 7 and 24 inches of snow with a mean of about 1.2, but really the bulk of it falls in that one period, and you know the indications are it's not going to be all snow, so those numbers are probably really, really high. So if you could look at this in the EC model, we might come up with a different outcome. So here's the temperature forecast. You see we're supposed to go above freezing tomorrow, and then drop below freezing, and most of the members keep the surface. This is kind of the odd thing. I think it's a boundary issue in the GEFS. Most of the members keep our 2-meter temperatures at or below freezing. And with a minor snow cover, and it's been cold, and it's an Arctic air mass with low dew points, I think we're going to be hard pressed right now to get the surface temperatures much above freezing. This could probably be mostly, even if we go to rain, it's probably going to be mostly in a lot of cold areas, especially a freezing rain scenario. If you look at the 850 temperatures, again, you see that not a lot of members get it above 0 at 850. And of course, at 700, it's like -4. So, you know, sleet and freezing rain are probably a potential issue here, but all rain, I don't, right now, these profiles don't exactly support that 100%. So we'll move, and then you see the Arctic air, which is pretty incredible. You can see there's still some really super duper cold members, but they backed off, and about probably, it looks like we had 2 shots. So I guess Monday, is that Monday morning, and on apparently Tuesday morning, if I got my dates right, where we have 2 shots to go below 0 this winter, which we haven't done. I just went below 10 degrees for the first time 2 mornings ago. I got to 80. So, you know, we have a shot of going below 0, which in the last 10 years we don't always do anymore. So dress warmly on Monday and apparently Tuesday. I don't think I'm going to be walking outside on Monday. And thankfully, it's a federal holiday, and state college area schools don't ski, and I ski with their ski program, so I won't be shivering at 10 degrees or 11 degrees skiing down Tussey, which is really icy. They should name it Icy. It'd be a more appropriate name, but that's okay. So anyway, and then there's another event, another cold slug. It doesn't look that great. So we'll go to the shorter range forecast. This is the 17ZGEFS. I will zoom in on Pennsylvania because I'm hoping it'll update the QPF, and it did. So if we look at the accumulated QPF with this oncoming event, it's gotten more robust. Who knew? It's saying we're back looking at an inch or so. And if you look at the temperatures aloft, you probably could support, in our climatological snow ratios, you probably could support 12 to 14 to 1 with this event. So maybe an inch, 1 to 2 inches of snow is coming back to being a potential reality. You know? when you make a forecast at 9 in the morning, you know, it's like on a short range thing. So, and it's going to be mostly snow if we go to the precipitation type, because it hasn't printed out yet. So we'll just go to the instantaneous precipitation to find out when the precip comes in. I'm supposed to be somewhere this evening. I want to be home before the snow gets going. So this is 21Z. It looks like sometime around 23Z. So, you know, depends what time you eat dinner. Right? When you're cleaning up the dishes, loading the dishwasher, whatever, you know, there could be some light snow come by, and then there's another slug that may pass by. So maybe we'll get a fresh inch and a half of snow, which will help us radiate a little better on Friday night, which will help us with the Saturday boundary layer for ice. Not that that's a good thing. So we don't have, the precipitation type has not processed or posted to this page yet, but it looks to me like. Look what the radar looks like. We'll go 2 meters. Yeah, radar. See what the radar looks like. Yeah, it's pretty light stuff, but it looks like late this evening we get a burst of snow, and maybe overnight. Nothing to write home about. You know, not exciting, but hey, we haven't had a lot of snow since before Thanksgiving, so we'll take what we can get, right? And we can get the 2 meter temperatures with this. It never got to, has it gotten to 30 out yet? Did you notice the temperatures were in the low 30s this afternoon? My car's at 28 when I'm driving over here. A little more, but. So it looks like at the end of the period, it's temperatures are, temperatures are mainly in the 20s tomorrow morning, so mid-20s, not overly cold. So we'll go to the HREF. The HREF came in at 12Z, and this is the QPF from the HREF, and you can see it is just not. It has precipitation coming in around 23Z like the HER, and it's just not that robust. At 0.01 to 0.05. I mean, this is of course in single increments, and it doesn't go far enough out to see the onset of our new storm unless we zoom out and look to our west, which we could do. But if we go to this top of this browser. We can go with their total accumulation as we go to 36-hour blended mean. So it looks like if I get the scale up, like yeah, maybe 0.1 to 0.25 is in the realm of possibilities in central Pennsylvania down here, and this would all be snow. They don't make an accumulative graphic for snow. And if we zoom out to the U.S. scale, I think I can hit this regional thing. Conus the Barbarian wasn't a. Did it load? Oh, I'm in the storm total. So it looks like the Appalachians have a better shot than we do. We'll go 1 hour precipitation mean. I guess there's our wave, probably in Iowa tomorrow night. So that's our great snowy hope or icy hope. So I guess I can get rid of these. And we look at the water vapor image, you see that there's a big mess out here in the west. A lot of water vapor images, like dry slot coming in as our wave coming up over the Appalachian Mountains. It's going to come through us tonight. It doesn't look super duper organized, and clearly there's some kind of jet coming up the Pacific, and just but from a satellite perspective, all we can see is a little weak sheared out wave coming at us for tonight. There's things in the way. I don't know how to deal with it. The sharing thing. I've never been good at sharing. So, oh, and I killed the one thing I wanted. I killed the wrong one. I feel like a bad Arnold Schwarzenegger. If it bleeds, I can kill it. Right. Try again. So we'll put it on our radar here. You can see there's some stuff aloft, probably not falling on anybody yet. We zoom out, I guess, to the Midwest. We can probably see the little wave in the Midwest coming at us. So there's a little wave tonight, I guess. It shouldn't be a big thing to worry about. Has anybody seen the 12Z EC output? Oh, I don't have access to it. I don't know how to access it. What is that? The EC. Oh. It's usually around the time it's coming in. It's right around now. So here's a kind of a large scale from the GEFS. See if I can blend this well. See, we have a nice high over. It's a perfect place for a high. Little southerly flow comes over us tonight. We get a little shot of precipitation. Then this banana high comes over us, which is usually a good thing because that'll spill in shallow level cold air, which will really lower our dew points because that is a pretty darn cold air mass, which is never good. And the low goes into the Appalachians, kind of comes up the spine, and then it looks like it propagates across, but we all know it's going to redevelop and go off to the coast. So the storm track is actually relatively good for us at the surface. And you think, well, we probably be mostly snow, maybe sleet. But if we change to at 850, we'll see that the blue zone out there to our north. That's really good Arctic air. So there'll be some really shallow, cold, dry air, which at the front side of the event. So that probably means our surface is going to be really cold and really dry. But you can see the 0 degrees Celsius line goes to our west. That's because the 850 low is to our west. And so we have a period here, after 0Z at least. You can see the hints actually at 850, a little bit of cold air damming effect, probably evaporative cooling with the snow falling into the air. So the evaporative cooling is overcoming the warm advection to a degree. And this storm comes with a lot of southerly flow, with overwhelming warm advection. And then by like 12Z Sunday, we're like about -4 already. We have to be in plus 2 or 3. And then the minus 16 line comes crushing through us in the afternoon on Sunday. So the temperature's going to be falling like a stone just on that curve. And then in the mean, it's like -20 to -22 at 850 over us Monday morning. So Monday morning is probably going to be the coldest morning we've seen probably since about the 6th or 7th of January last year. I'm trying to get that Saturday in January was really cold. So then the 6th or 7th of January I think I had -9 at my house. And that was about -24 at 850. So we stay pretty cold, and I think Tuesday night will probably radiate a little bit. And then here comes the next wave, and then the 0 line's already making an entry into Pennsylvania ahead of the next wave, like a waste of cold air. So the big question is the precipitation time. We can take a look at the GFS just for let's look at the QPF. QPF. We already looked at the precip type issues, so we'll look at we'll do the onset time. We'll look at the 12-hour 1/10 of an inch of QPF, and you can see tonight we get by 6Z we should have an inch of snow if you believe the GFS, give or take 12 to 1 versus 10 to 1, whatever. But as a first cut, and then nice day on a Friday in the afternoon, and then Saturday around 18Z we have about a 30% chance by 18Z of having our first shot of some light snow, and then it looks like by 20Z we're full into it. We'll probably have our first inch of snow. And if you look carefully, that is a 5/10 of an inch of QPF based on the 850 temperatures. So you can see why a lot of those plumes were suggesting we could have between about 0.5 and about 0.8 liquid, which would probably be in the beginning. It'd probably be 12, 13 to 1 snow. So the probability of seeing a ½ a foot of snow Saturday before the changeover mixing exists. It truly exists. And then we're still only about about 6/600ths of an inch by 6Z. These are 12-hour increments, and you can see that by about 18Z, our probability of precipitation has dropped to like 30 to 50%, or a tenth of an inch or more. It's dropped. So the real meat of the storm is Saturday evening and overnight, and in the morning, it's just getting blustery and cold, and we get useless snow showers most of the time here. Nothing that's going to make a dent in it. But the period between 18Z and 6Z on Sunday, it doesn't even precipitate. So basically, all the snow we see on Sunday is with the cold air is in the morning. And if we go to like the 24-hour accumulation, which should encapsulate the entire event, we'll put the probability of a half an inch. I'm going to guess, like the 6Z is going to say, yeah, that's 0Z Sunday. So we're at about a 60% chance, and the mean position of the 0.5 is like right over us. So the possibility of a half a foot of snow exists if we can keep it all snow up to 0Z. And then we have over a half inch of precipitation in our area, but we don't know the type. And by 12Z, we've had over an inch of QPF, if you believe this model, the mean. And the probability, I think, is about 90% of an inch from one QPF. So if we could stay snow, we'd have one heck of a snowstorm. But I can't, looking at this guidance, I can't see how we're going to stay snow. They're going to be close, though. And the forecasts are going to change tonight and tomorrow. We have a time for change. And then it kind of goes away. And then we see the next system coming our way on Wednesday. And I don't have, like I said, I don't have access to the EC. So what we'll do is we'll go forward and we'll look at the long range forecast, and we'll look at a blend. And we'll start out with a blend regionally using the NACE, because that at least has the Canadian model in it. You betcha. And you can see this is today, and you can see we're about -8 at 850, and it shows that blob of -32. That's kind of like the creme de la creme of Arctic air for January, just to our north in Canada. This is the first Arctic air mass I've seen in North America that's below -20 Celsius. It's been a pretty lame Arctic air up in Canada this winter. We finally got the real deal going on up there. And then that goes by. We get a nice baroclinic zone. And the NACE clearly is colder than the GEFS, because with the NACE blended in, the 850 just barely gets to us. I don't know if you can see that. The 850 just barely gets to us at 6Z. So I'm guessing the Canadian model is more snowier than our model, and their ensemble system is probably more snowier. I don't know if I'd hang my hat on that. Of course, I have very little hair, so I need to wear one. And you can see even in the mean in this model, there's a -20 to a -22 line goes through us 6Z Monday morning. So they all agree that there's going to be one heck of an Arctic shock. It's just going to be very short-lived, because very small amplitude wave. And then it shows the next system coming for the middle of the week. And then you'll notice that I'm going to go all the way to February here. Right? And you'll notice that we're in a mean trough. Some people think it's a mean trough. Some people it's a nice trough. If you like cold and snow, you like nice troughs. If you don't like cold, you call it a mean trough. So this goes all the way to the 2nd of February. And we pretty much stay in the -4 for the most part to about -16 range at 850 through that most of that period. And if we zoom out to the North American mode, step through it, you'll see a lot of things you like to see. You see like a trough on the west coast, you see a trough over some cross-polar flow up in northwest Canada, eastern Alaska. You see that big blob of blue stuff going over us, the cold air on Monday, Tuesday. You see a nice big occasional blob of cold air north and over Hudson's Bay, and these nice ridge later this week over the west coast, which is an indicator it's going to be cold in the eastern United States, right? And that kind of gets maintained. Now, granted, there's 52 ensembles making this, so over time the ridge gets smoothed out. But you can see in general we're in for a pretty cold period, good cold 2 weeks, and at the end when you get to the 2nd of February, there's nothing in the pattern that go back to the beginning. That I see is going to end. There's still cross-polar flow, so it looks like we're going to keep a generally cold pattern into probably the first week at the bare minimum of February. So there's hope of more ugly storms like the one we're going to see Sunday, and maybe one of them will actually be snow. Apparently, it has to be when it's warm in November to get snow here. In January, it's not allowed. So or you can look at the surface with this too, just for a quickie, then taking a lot of your time. But some of the things you like to see. You see the big high coming down tomorrow. And it kind of has that banana high shape, which keeps the cold air to the north and maintains the baroclinic zone. And there is one hell of a baroclinic zone. You can see it's minus 34 Celsius there at 850. It's nothing to sneeze at, but it would probably make you sneeze, or at least your nostrils would freeze. And then the low goes off and the high comes through with the Arctic surge, and it goes right over the ocean. And then we just stay in the weak northwesterly flow. Some little waves go by, but we stay in the cold side of things at least till February. So I got to go back to the PowerPoint. And so the future talk of this sudden stratospheric warming event and colder pattern, at least in the short run, the NACE are probably verifying that, well, we're going to get cold and we're going to be in a relatively cold pattern. So I don't know if anybody here looks at like stratospheric plots and stuff like that, but I've seen some animations that look pretty good. But I think it's more exciting to look at the weather. That's what I do. And but if you listen to all those things, all those blogs, and all those people talking about that, the one thing's sure is the next 1 to 3 weeks we're going to be, normal to below normal. And with a trough, there's always hope that something can come up the coast and get exciting. So in review, we have this light snow event, which looks like the 1 to 2 snow might not be that bad. Arctic frontal boundary and a wave along the front with the phasing waves. We have a big high and colder to the north. So depending on what model you look at, it looks like we're looking at, probably close to a half a foot of snow before we mix with sleet, freezing rain. We could actually change to all rain. I mean, if that happens, we're looking at a potential flash freeze event on Sunday. It's going to get very cold Sunday during the day, and it'll be probably the coldest morning of the year on Monday morning. And we're in this overall colder pattern. And the big fly in the ointment is, will it be snow or will it be snow, sleet, and everything else? And so I think a forecast of like 4 to 18 inches of snow is probably a reasonable guess. The public won't like that. They're all going to latch on to the 18, like the guy who put the 22-inch graphic out, like on was that Tuesday or Monday night, Tuesday? So, any questions, comments? Or? Yes. What, they come back on Monday, a Sunday? What day do you have to be back? They'll be back on Monday. So if they're coming back on Monday, it'll just be cold. If your car starts in cold weather, you'll be good to go. Saturday, I get out of Dodge early. Not that this is Dodge, but you get the. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be leaving State College much. And if I'm heading west, I want to leave really early. If I'm heading east, I definitely want to be out of here by, say, like 10 in the morning, because the storms, the precip shield, as you saw, is coming up from the west-southwest. So if you're going to go west, you want to probably leave Friday for sure, or you want to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, which college students just normally don't do. And if you're going east, I would get on the road somewhere like absolutely before. If you can't leave by noon, I just say bag it, enjoy the storm. But if you can leave before, like, say, 10 o'clock in the morning, you'll probably be okay. And as long as you're going 65 or 70 on 80, you'll be good to go. Anybody else? I wouldn't want to be driving around here on Sunday at all, especially in the morning. Everybody good? Sure. You're welcome.
All right, thank you very much, Rich, for presenting all that. Again, no speaker yet next week, but look for an email soon. Hopefully we'll be back here next Thursday around the same time. Thanks for coming, everyone. Appreciate it.